Okay, so I want to make this clear. I here am just like ranting at the universe and teaching lessons on whatever the fuck it is I want to teach lessons about, and fuck the government. I'm not planning to do anything. In fact, what I'm telling you all to do is to train and own all this shit and do nothing. Wait for them to do something. They will do something eventually. If you're listening to someone that is telling you to go out there and commit acts of violence, that's a problem. That's a problem, right? I'm not encouraging you to do that. If the world degrades to the point that like, hey, there's marauding bandits or some shit, well then that's a different thing, right? This is why we own guns. But at this point, like, you should just start like training and learning and gather up as much of this shit as you can and just sit on your hands. If you ever got any other vibe from this channel, you were wrong. We're in a fucking like siege. And like some people don't realize that we're in a siege yet. But we are. And it's us and Russia going back and forth at it. And here in the US, it's going to be them trying to starve you out, basically. I don't know the exact purposes, but they want you to not own as much property and valuable assets. They'd like you to sell off the extra car and sell off the extra home to the bank. For whatever reason. I'm not really sure why they're doing that, but don't do that shit. Keep as much shit as you can. Cash is worthless. That's the message of this fucking place, man. Is that basically you should hoard guns and gold and automobiles that are useful, basically. And by that I mean they're either old as shit and will run forever, like some sort of like 1950s pickup truck or something like that. Or there's something like my Honda minivan where like they might be vulnerable to EMP or something like that, but there's a billion parts out there and they're cheap as fuck. And it's a big ass cargo thing that you can do anything with. I'm encouraging you to have stuff, to have skills, to be able to, fit into a convoy to go fight the Chinese or some shit if that's what we end up doing, or fucking whatever else it is. It looks like our government's going to collapse. And whenever it does, people are going to come here thinking that they own this place. That's the point of this channel. Our government's going to collapse on its own. Hate to tell you boys this, but that's where we're headed. It's going to be in full collapse. And as soon as it's like that, you in your area with your men will be enforcing the Constitution more than likely. Or that could very well be the way it comes to be. You should be a useful animal for the sheriff in your area. And like this is one of those things that like this might be controversial. Maybe you should go get to know your sheriff if that's at all a possibility for you. Okay? It depends on how big of a thing you're in or whatever, but like my thoughts are if anyone's going to call up a fucking militia or some shit like that or a posse, it's going to be the fucking sheriff. And like if this is where your mindset is at and you really aren't up to any fucking harm, I would go and like have this conversation with the fucking sheriff. That is basically, I have these capabilities. If shit gets bad enough and we are like, it's you and one deputy against the world, maybe you could come and say, hey. Like, there's a lot of like small town shit where like they'd probably be welcome to know that they could come knock on your door. If you're in the middle of fucking like LA County, I wouldn't do that shit. If you're in Tulsa, I wouldn't do that shit. there's a reasonable chance that those people could be militarized against you in some fashion, and they don't need to know you exist. Okay? This is like the difference between the Barney Fife sheriff that you might go say hey to and the LA County Sheriff's Department, which is a military. And that's the sad thing, is most of them are militaries now. But like, that's the side of things that I am on. I'm on the side of the Constitution and whatever states wish to honor it, and whichever sheriffs wish to honor it, whichever governors, I guess, too, the whole states. But like, that's what I would look to for leadership as far as a militia goes. Don't fucking look to some dude on your phone. Like, you're the good guys. Act like it. They start treating you like not the good guys, act more like the good guys. And if they keep doing it and keep doing it and keep doing it, well, then maybe you'll act like the good guys did in 1776. And I don't know what to tell you about then. But, like, you should keep being the good guys until then. I do much of what I do to protect myself and my own property and shit and my own family. But some of what I do is like, if there are Chinese paratroopers taking over the city, it matters way less if my own shit is safe. And like, I'm not saying that's within the realm of possibilities, but things are going to start changing rapidly. And one of the issues that I see coming our way is China has all the production capabilities. Like, the reason we won World War II was because we outproduced the Germans. We don't have that ability anymore. This is why we need to start getting U.S. manufacturing back underway. And as a result of that, basically, I would prepare to have us losing World War III. And as such, there could be foreign powers coming in thinking that they own your fucking shit. This is why we need militias, because they can't do that shit. Especially not if you just keep shooting them. Go watch the fucking Wind and the Lion and watch the Raizuli. And know that that's who you should start modeling yourself after to lead a group of people in fucking, vehicles. In the desert someplace. Whatever it takes to fucking resist these people. Like, that's like your worst case scenario, right? Is you have to flee your home and your fucking vehicle. Go watch the Bedouin in that movie. And then go watch all the van life people. And imagine a fusion of those two things. This is the way. Like, there's also like this lurking shit in the background of like the banks and the New World Order and all that bullshit coming after your shit. It might be advantageous to have your life minimalized to the point that like they can't take it from you. That's what I preach here, and that you should be heavily armed while doing that. And basically that you should be samurai. Live as minimally as possible. Have some shitty beater van that you go hunting in, and meditate on the sword and learn scout sniper shit from fucking Vietnam and wherever. Like, I don't know. We preach a lot of different shit here. There's a lot of different shit to learn, but the whole learning to camp and live out of a fucking car thing, that's probably something you should do. The whole learning to shoot, that's probably something you should do. And once you have all of that done, learning to hike and walk and then shoot and then come back, and like, this is like building skill sets for shit, right? They should do more than that, but like this is just some basic bitch shit just to get you started. I'm not preaching, any, fancy shit here, really. I don't think I'm the person to do that. And I'm not trying to like start some resistance to get you to fucking go do things. Like, other than I would really like other people to start either transitioning for real, if they have the balls for it, or just throwing on a dress and a fucking wig and saying that you're a girl and like painting up your car and like dragging your tailpipe and sparking and shit and just like adding to the fucking craziness that these people are fucking doing. Like, is this the future you want? Like, there's some of that. Like, go speed. Go run a red light. That's, the level I would encourage you to, like, fucking protest these fuckers. And do it all while, like, being a lesbian, transgender, Muslim motorcycle gang. You have all the victim cards. But don't go commit fucking acts of violence, and don't think that I'm trying to, like, be your leader or some shit. Like, I'm someone entertaining to fucking listen to and watch who's going through similar shit or whatever and planning out their own shit. As far as your leadership, like, you probably will be the leader, and whoever you report to will probably be, like, a sheriff or the mayor or some shit like that. Those are the people that you probably should fucking figure out. Especially if you're in a small town. If you're in a big town, I don't know what to tell you then. Like, vet whoever you're going to fucking link up with somehow. That's a fucked effort, though, right? I imagine that there's going to be a couple of big movements, right? There's going to be the people that believe all of this shit and the people that believe all of this shit with different flags. Figure out which camp you're in and go buy a flag, I guess. Although it seems like, there's not a lot of fucking, like... There's two camps right now, right? There's the Republican and the Democrats. Both suck, and both take good and bad points, in my opinion. Like, the Democrats are basically communists, and that's bad. But they're pretty good on social issues, I think, which is that you should be open and welcoming and accepting of everything, right? But, like, at the same time, the Republicans, get that we should be financially conservative, at least. And that, like, I don't know. There's a lot of ridiculous shit that comes with the Democrats. And then there's a lot of ridiculous shit that comes with the Republicans. So, when both flags suck, what you gonna do? What you gonna do? What you gonna do when they come for you? And this is where I'm like, Musashi, samurai, I'm just going for a good death. So, come on. Let's get it over with, I guess. Or some shit. Tired of watching Biden fucking tank our country. Come on, FBI. Let's get it on. See you guys later.